This is the Viper Report market wrap video for the week ending February 27th. At this point, Sunday, I'm sure you're all aware of the events in Iran. And in today's video, we'll give our normal month-ending sort of technical review, but also look at some interesting things and what this action may mean for the markets, if anything, in the week ahead. No change in the monthly outlook from the AD lines. They're still very positive. In fact, one of the confounding things lately has been how strong the AD lines have been while stocks have been mixed. Currently, of course, it's been quite the decline in the growth-related ETF, and everyone wants to short the software stocks, etc. That's not really our style. But clearly, you can see that the NYSE Composite, once again, up 3.25 for the month. Great performance. Next target is this R1. And those of you who are not familiar with pivots in stock charts, you can see this line up over here. That's at 23,900. Currently, we're at 23,494. And then, of course, the R2 is at 25,797. Both the stocks only and the all AD line making new highs on a monthly basis. That's quite bullish. You can see even some of you say, oh, it's like 22. You can see what happened in 21. We talked a little bit about how the hedge funds are about as bullish as they were right in here, but the AD line was looking much different at that point. And you can see below here, sentiment has weakened. Still, I'm looking for this -10 level. Now they're 6.6% more bearish in the AAII survey than there are bulls. Very interesting table here, put out by Ryan Dietrich, and some of these I didn't observe. For example, the Germany invasion of France, what happened to the stock markets. So this is 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. A bunch of other these, pretty much anything, after 72, I was pretty much aware of. So this is just part of the list, and you should, check out, as Ryan concluded, up a median 5% 6 months later. All of them felt really bad at the time. You can go through this list. I've given the links to you so you can see it. I would encourage you to follow Ryan. He's one of the, true, in my view, technicians that certainly is on CNBC for the most part, and does very interesting work. If you look at the daily of the NYSE Composite, you can see we're holding up nicely here, bumping into the monthly R2 for February. AD line, nice pattern, nice uptrend, turned down a little bit. Down below here we have the VIX, flip back above its moving average, and still holding this support. So it's still could be bottoming, but so far, I think if early in the coming week after what happened in Iran, if this crashes below this support, it'd be quite significant. Looking at the SPY, you can see we have the new pivots for March, 686.30 for the SPY, resistance 696.83. That's pretty much where we've been bumping into right up in here. You can see that the R1 and then the S1 at 675.47. So you can see that corresponds to the recent probably 5-month range. S&P 500 AD line made another new high on Friday. Stocks only turned down a little bit, as did the NYSE. Looking at the QQQs, they were down just a fraction, 0.25, closing just at 607.29, just above the 20-week EMA at 606.99. The pivot is still well below the market at 550, and I think this is still a target for this year. Doesn't look like it right now. At 699 is the R1. You can see the weekly AD line is positive and rising. The RS, is suggests QQ is still not leading on a near-term basis as it's below its moving average. Of course, the QQQ looks much better than many of the software indices. I have a whole list I'm monitoring. Here's crowd. You can see it looks pretty sickly. New lows in the OBV and the RS, and big pickup in volume last week. And of course, the IGV is getting most of the negative combination. You notice it actually was up almost 1% last week. Good volume too, but you can see that the RS peaked out here, in early October, and then the OBV joined it in November, as it dropped below its moving average and the support. The OBV has flipped back to positive, but those of you who followed my analysis, the OBV suggests this is a rally within a downtrend, not a sustainable low at this point. We're down below the yearly S1, and we got to get up to, we closed at 81.57, got to close above 99.10 to turn the weekly pivot analysis positive. Also for the NYSE, same situation, made a new high above 400 here in February, and still, 66 versus 201 on Friday's action. So here's some of the other software stocks we're monitoring. CRM, Salesforce, a big favorite. You can see it's got massive supply up here in the 225 area. Sure, that's $30 above where we are. Most of the indicators have broken support. Look like CrowdStrike. This is not typically what you see of a bottom. You can see what happened in 24. We finally turned back to positive from that kind of low, but this was in April, and it didn't come through until October. OBV, the same thing. Hack, which is a leveraged software company. It's also broken support, OBV, and it's been negative since last August. One of the few software things, IGPT, which is very small companies, you can see what a difference it makes. So it's something, once the software does turn around, I'll probably be focusing on that. Intuit, also a big casualty, went from, closed below its pivot here early in the year at 656. Now it's at 409, so it's down about 30%. And Microsoft, it's certainly gone. I thought it was going to hold the support here around 424 to 436, but no. So, 342 is the next real floor there. We're into this area at 380 and 382 as we had a low at 391. Of course, the first step would be to look at what you would see on, a daily basis, and with a little too much data there. And, maybe a short-term bottom, but nothing. Look at the 20-day moving average is still weak, so I would not be bottom fishing there. Monitoring of the IWF IWD ratio, I hope this is something all of you will keep track of going forward. It's quite a valuable tool. When it started to drop below its moving average, we were looking for a correction down to about where we are now. We broke the uptrend. Is that significant? Really what I would typically work for is a rally back, to this declining 20-week. So, and clearly, some of the growth names are getting very oversold. So if this is a multi-year top, you remember that the value really peaked out before the 2007 top. And so, it can be very important. MACD is very negative, but not, close to turning positive yet. For all these, of course, I'll be monitoring using Jerry's wonderful tools. Here we have this screen. Looking at all the sectors are above, their yearly pivots, because they're green. You can see here, XLY, XLK, and XLF, are below their quarterly pivots. And here we have their monthly pivot levels. And then we have one new, XLRE gave a monthly DTS, positive, and XLF gave a negative one. So the only one with a bunch of green on it now is XLC, which we're out of. We've been sidestepped that one for a few last couple of months, and that's okay. And only one little blurry in XLB, the 4-hour DTS is positive. So, we'll continue to monitor these on a day-to-day basis as part of our sector analysis. A quick look at the sector reports, the watch list from T&J that were sent out yesterday. New sell signals, HYG, and junk, those are the high yield. There's not a lot of signs yet of a credit crisis, but of course we have the Blue Owl credit. That could morph, but do not see that widening spread typically that happens with that. But we'll keep an eye on it. Clean energy, negative, retail, negative, and Ultra Pro, that's the triple long, it's negative too. On the plus side, we have healthcare, XBI, and XLC. Overall picture, 71% bullish. That really does not look like what we've seen on the past market declines or tops like we saw a year ago early. So that suggests that maybe the war will not have an immediate negative effect. Longer term, it's harder to tell. 30% growth, 90% value. Short ETFs, all zero that are bullish. And then, of course, the longs, it's kind of a mixed bag. They're mostly above their quarterly pivots, and only TNA is bearish. The others are positive. Looking at the sector report, of course, the key is in these charts, as it always is. Not a lot of surprise. Some to watch, though. Energy still looks great. We took some profits off on XOP, but that's likely to be, that level is probably going to be exceeded Monday's open. Materials, we've been in NEM, but not a lot of participation on our side. Industrials, similar sort of thing, but lots of, Boeing, DE, EE. We have the ITA, which is the defense we added last week, should take, have some weighting in here. Consumer discretionary still looks negative. Amazon is just trying to bottom out, but lots of red. Consumer staples, still looks pretty strong. Kind of maybe a possible top here. And also in healthcare, we had a nice surge up, but still, below this resistance. And it had a good performance last week. Financials, pretty sick. Visa is about the only one that's positive. And technology, still trying to bounce. Communication software, you can see even despite the 54% are above their quarterly, sort of a mixed bag here. Charter is above it. Disney is positive on a short-term basis, but you can see the chart. You'd like to see a strong move in the fast, that's the green, MA above the other, the light blue. Utilities still looks great. We kind of got in those, but not really happy with our entry because we kept trying to buy too low. From the themes report, some improvement. AI robotics up to 44. Quantum computing still at 10. Nuclear gauge 44. Crypto 20%. Strategic material now up to 70. So there's a bunch of names here that you might want to take a look at. For looking at individual stocks, here they are: MP, ATI, STLD, NUE, LAC are all 1 hour, and you can see a bunch of these have negative daily and 4 hours, so they could be emerging in the weeks to come. 3D printing 12%, security 0, no problem. Aerospace and defense 44, though we're still into it. You can see NOC, Lockheed Martin, TDG, and Rockwell, all some 4 hour green here as of Friday. Infrastructure 80%, it still looks pretty good. and NQ largest still looks pretty bad. You know, Google, there's a couple of Microsoft. It now has a daily and a 4-hour, but I'll be looking for some 3 hours. Broadcom AVGO is one of the few where it has a 3-day but nothing else. So great. I hope you find these reports. We'll be keeping you up to steam in tomorrow's reports, in terms of the overall market. And I don't see, we'll see if they break down, or if they rally, then we'll be given some target areas to take some profits. So clearly the rest of the first quarter will be interesting. I hope you found the video informative, and as always, send me your feedback.